Hello, welcome to Laptop Radio. Today's topic is fintech opportunities in the alternative financial services space. We have Rodrigo Rodas, CEO of Lana, with us. Hello,
Hi,
how
how
are
are
you
you?
doing?
Great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Where are you based?
I'm based out of Miami, Florida.
Awesome, awesome. What is your story?
Yeah, I'm originally from Guatemala. Came into the alternative financial services space through a company that did pawn loans and title loans in Central and South America. We were acquired by a company in the U.S. out of Austin that's in the alternative financial services space, mainly pawn, called Easy Corp.
Mhm.
And we launched a corporate venture called Lana. And the goal of Lana was to create a digital experience for the pawn customer and create a relationship in what otherwise would be a transactional relationship with that customer, and finding ways that we can serve them beyond that transaction.
So the topic is fintech opportunities in the alternative financial services space, and I wanted to focus on that. What are the opportunities in that space?
So what we saw initially is, we look at pawn as a alternative financial services space, along with a lot of other, we call them like fringe banking services, if you will. There's been very little innovation outside of lending in this space. There's a lot of online lenders that are doing a phenomenal job, and we're seeing the industry of online lending just take over the traditional unsecured lending space and providing much better experience to customers overall. But there's still a lot of opportunity out there. It's incredible that in 21st century you still have check cashing shops or payday lenders out there, with everything that we can do and with all the technology that's available to us. So one of the big opportunities that we saw for us was that in the traditional pawn shop environment, people use it kind of as a last resort, and there's still millions of people that use this form of financing because it's a secured form of financing, right? The worst thing that can happen is they lose their item. There's no consequences around that. So it's something that feels very safe for a lot of customers, but there are also customers that are neglected to a certain degree and not well served by the traditional financial institutions. So we saw a big opportunity to come in and develop a digital platform that would take advantage of that transaction with the customer and bring it to a relationship with the customer. And by creating that platform, we'd be able to continue developing new products and features that serve this customer base.
I have a question about exclusion. How are payment systems and banks excluding a set or any set of customers today?
Well, there's multiple ways. I would say one of them is there are certain minimum requirements needed in the traditional financial space that are blockers for a lot of customers. So, for example, if you're earning minimum wage and you need to have a minimum balance in the account, otherwise face a fee, then that could be exclusive. That could exclude you from that.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're excluded by mistakes or financial literacy. One of the this is no secret. If you look at a lot of people who have bank accounts and go into overdraft, whether it was because of neglect, because of ignorance, or because of simply a lack of knowledge, they go into overdraft and those fees accumulate. Next thing you're just depositing money to pay off those fees, and you decide to step away from the banking world because you don't feel secure anymore. So those are some of the opportunities that we see we can that they're fresh for the taking. And if you look at some of the statistics, There's some really interesting reports. There's one 2017 done by FDIC. The number of underbanked defined as people who are served outside of the traditional financial services um, for one or other financial needs. That population has actually grown over time, which is really telling of the state of financial services today. And I think that's what has given way to so much innovation.
Tell us about Lana and what kind of services does it provide? Is it like a traditional bank? How is it different from a traditional bank? And how is it different from a digital wallet?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we launched Lana 7 months ago now, January 2020,
Mhm.
and our goal was to find new ways to serve that pawn customer. So what we offer is a no fee bank account. It's completely free, no charges of any kind, transparent, easy to use. And right now, one of the main products or offerings we have is it allows pawn customers to manage their pawn loans through that account.
Mhm.
And while it might seem as something that's pretty basic, it is something that is really valuable for that customer because that transaction is filled with a lot of friction points,
Mhm.
including having to come physically to the location to serve that loan, having to carry papers around uh, to prove that you're the owner of that loan. So it is a very antiquated process, and we're taking away all that friction to make that easier for those customers. And the other thing we've seen is a lot of them do not have bank accounts. A lot of them are employees in the cash economy, whether they're gig workers, construction workers. For a lot of them, having an easy process and an easy to use bank account that can transparently show how to manage their money is a very big plus. And we've seen very good traction so far. We have almost 60,000 customers that have taken on the platform using our our store location acquisitions channel alone.
Awesome. And I see that on your website, it says zero setup costs, membership fees, minimum balance, sneaky fees. And one reason I really don't like the banks, and I have been not liking the bank, is that there is a cost for everything.
Well, that's true, and there is a cost for everything. So from our perspective, we think that a lot of these features, everything that we're offering, is table stakes nowadays. So it's something that, in theory, it's not a value add. It's something you would expect from a financial institution. So our goal by offering this is using this as a platform and add other products that are value add that customers are willing to pay for.
Mhm.
And you start seeing this all over the place. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. You see multiple examples. I mean, Cash App is a great example. They've done a phenomenal job. You have Chime, all of these neobanks popping up. Our focus is on a specific niche, and that
Mhm.
is that pawn customer. We have access to millions of them, and our goal is to continue disrupting the services and the offerings that these customers go after.
I see that you partner with Green Dot to provide the services. And I know that Green Dot has been offering banking as a service. Do you feel like it's easier to partner with someone like Green Dot to provide an offering that you can reach the target audience that you wanted to reach? As so it's a lot easier than just focusing on all the regulations and compliance and everything else.
I guess it depends on what your ultimate goal is. For us, the services, the banking as a service that Green Dot provides, and they've been a great partner, that is for us makes sense because we don't want to have, as you mentioned, all the compliance, all the overhead, everything that goes along with setting up a bank.
Mm-hmm.
It's capital intensive, and our goal is to provide a better experience for a specific group of customers. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see this with a lot more brands and a lot more companies going forward, of them trying to link their service to some banking or financial feature. And for us, it was sort of a non, it made a lot of sense to partner with somebody like Green Dot that provide all of this wrapped up in a box. And basically what you have to do is work with their APIs,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a great team that provides great support, and just rolling it off very, very quickly.
I assume that because they take care of more of the back end of banking, you can focus on your customer base.
That's exactly.
What are some considerations you go through when you think about your customer base and how to market as well as service them?
Yeah, so for the most part, our customers are in the lower income range.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it's really important to have a lot of face-to-face time with them when we think about new things, how they interact. User experience is very important. And I would say how to manage, how to create a user experience that is simple, but it also is delivered in their terms.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start talking about finance and add all this sophisticated terminology to anything, it becomes convoluted, and it just people just don't feel comfortable. You want customers to feel very comfortable and talk the way they do. So trying to use as much as compliance allows us to use terms such as money instead of talking about finance, and talking about uh, you're try to use uh, as much slang or words that are easy for our customers to feel comfortable with. And I think the most important thing is transparency.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have, this is what you owe, this is how much you can spend. Keeping it simple for our customer base is important. One of the things that we've leveraged significantly has been that physical channel, because we've noticed that customers that are in the lower end of the income spectrum are by definition suspicious
Mm-hmm.
of offerings. So I'll give you a great example. We were at a location, and we were rehearsing onboarding a customer to the
Mm-hmm.
platform in a store. And when we said, listen, these are all the advantages of having this account, the customer said, listen, I don't like this. And when we said, well, why? What do you mean you don't like it? Well, it's free. I'm like, yeah, shouldn't that be a good thing? He's like, no, there has to be a catch. So immediately I'm being suspicious about, what's the catch? Why are they giving me a free thing? So trying to present the customers to why it's free, why it makes sense, it's really important. So
Mm-hmm.
those have been one of the biggest design challenges we've faced.
Yeah, I mean, I think because a lot of the traditional banking system has used free, and it's been a word that's overused. However, they have the hidden terms somewhere in a footnote that you don't really realize until later.
Yeah.
The next question I have is about real estate. And when I say real estate, I mean the ATM locations as
Mhm.
well as locations that people could deposit cash, like Walgreens, Walmart, Inc. Do you find it convenient for people to have and transact at those locations?
It is convenient for them. They're pretty prevalent. I think our next challenge is how do we eliminate the fees associated with cash deposits.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a significant portion of our customers that handle a lot of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And our goal is to try to eliminate that, because it does create a transaction fee that's outside of our control. So
Mm-hmm.
that fee is charged by the location where you deposit the cash, and that creates that creates another friction point. And it's not cheap. So you're talking between $3 and $5 for somebody in the segment that that we're targeting, that could be that day's lunch.
It is convenient. You can go to Walgreens or Walmart to deposit cash, and there is a lot of ATM locations where you can go to transact, which is awesome. It seems like you're focused on a certain segment of the population, and working with Green Dot has been awesome because they take care of all the banking regulations and the money is insured, which is awesome. How do you think about security?
A lot of so the app, and we have a great engineering team to make sure that everything's secure as it can be.
Mhm.
um, we've so far we've had zero issues. Most of the transactions go through the banking and debit card rails, so it's very secure. So we from our end, what we need to make sure is that anything that does not fall into in from a risk perspective, anything that falls outside of that realm is secure. So we've placed our CTO Florian Popescu puts a very high importance in everything that has to do with security. You'll have all the traditional, not traditional, but everything you would expect from a banking platform, having 2FA, having security, continuously improving that, and also relying on our partners for their security. So having multiple partners that have such high security standards, such as Green Dot and Visa, gives you that comfort that you're delivering something that the customers can feel secure.
And how about KYC? Is that done in-house or
So
does
no, so KYC is one of the offerings that the banking as a service comes with.
okay.
So it makes our job very easy. I guess the biggest challenge there is if somebody enters the wrong information or they've changed their address and they haven't updated it. Sometimes they'll have to provide additional information in order to go through the process.
Hmm.
And how to design for that in an efficient way and in a customer friendly way is a bit of a challenge. But other than that, it's all taken care of by Green Dot. So it's something as simple as building on an API.
That's awesome. In terms of location, are you guys global or in the US
We
or
just focus in the US for now. We're live on 14 states right now.
okay.
So we're focused on that. As I said, we're leveraging heavily on our partners' physical channels
Hmm.
for customer acquisition, which makes customer acquisition very cost effective.
Yeah, yeah. You have a lot of partners that have really good relationships already,
Yeah.
as well as really good physical locations and real estate. So that's awesome. And you're focusing on a very niche customer base.
That's right.
Besides security and risk, of course, are there any other challenges that you as a CEO think about?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think we have enough time to go over all of them, but there are many challenges. You're always in that balance as to constantly build, constantly look for new revenue generating opportunities, and balancing that out with user growth at the same time.
Hmm.
Making sure that we have a good team. There's a lot of great talent out there, but it's not as it's in high demand nowadays. So it is sometimes hard to, to lure in solid engineers to your team.
Hmm.
One of our other biggest challenges is finding additional partners to continue enhancing our product offering for our customers.
Hmm.
And finding ways to deliver that in an affordable and an experience that is consistent with the one we want to deliver to our customers. So I would say if I were to sum it up, my biggest challenge as the CEO is just making sure that we have the right balance between continuing to grow
Hmm.
our customer base and building out new products and features within the platform,
Hmm.
and constantly also making sure that there's enough funding to do this.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's between those things and also keeping our channel partners happy. So you're constantly shifting between those four priorities.
Look, for a company that does banking, for a specific customer base, do you feel like you have a lot of competitors? Do you feel like you're competing with the banks?
Not really. I think, I mean, we really do see the banking as a feature that we're providing. I think we'll see that more and more over time as banking just being kind of airtime to a certain degree. If I were to, I don't know if that's the right analogy to make, but it's something that's quickly becoming commoditized,
Mm-hmm.
and I see more and um, more either neobanks, fintechs, or new digital banks going after specific niches and specific customer bases with certain needs or people that want a certain type of experience in their bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that before, I would say, 8 or 9 years before, you could only get that. You'd go to a bank and it was pretty much the same experience everywhere you went.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's still a huge opportunity for innovation in how to deliver specific financial services wrapped in a different experience for different people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're betting on.
That sounds awesome. The topic is fintech opportunities in the alternative financial services space. So I'm just wondering if I'm an entrepreneur and I wanted to get into fintech, and I just learned from you that there are alternatives out there. What would I think about before I start this journey?
So the first thing I would do is what problem am I solving for, and is the problem something that is worth solving? Meaning, is there enough potential to make a business out of it? And is it something that is still not yet being disrupted by somebody else? And how intense that need is for that customer base. We have a lot of competitors out there that are not competitors, I would say alternatives out there in the fintech space that have raised hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mhm.
And while there's many other companies that will come out and raise hundreds of millions more, the odds of getting to that level are pretty low if you want to go after the big one size fits all startups that are out there. I would focus more on what are the niche opportunities and take advantage of that niche, and from that niche start growing and spreading out to other opportunities.
Let's talk about raising funds. Is it difficult to raise funds as a fintech company?
It's a question I can't answer. We have a corporate sponsor, so from our standpoint, it's not been a big challenge. Although it's not easy to ask your corporate sponsor for funds constantly, but it's something I wouldn't be able to give you an answer right now. I would tell you that there's significant interest from companies out there. There's significant interest from venture capital in the space, but you would have, from the discussions I've had with some of them, having traction early on before you go there is usually something that you want to have.
Yeah.
Uh,
What do you
but
think traction means in the fintech space, though?
so I would say consistent and high user growth, depending on the niche where you're serving, or having at least certain, and it depends on what stage you are, but a certain annual recurring revenue
Mhm.
depends on which stage of a certain amount. So
Awesome.
having revenue and having a customer base that's growing, it's two things that you definitely need to have.
And what is your vision for Lana?
Our goal is to start adding other financial services into the platform and expand to other countries where we can leverage our channel partners installed user installed um, physical footprint,
Mhm.
and start leveraging some cross-border opportunities there that we've seen. A lot of our customers are also in the remittance space.
Mhm.
You've seen a lot of disruption in that space. I mean, you see it every day. A lot of people use TransferWise. Now, there's a big challenge in certain countries where there's not a high banking penetration.
Mhm.
If you don't have a bank account, then it's going to be really hard for you to use TransferWise. So there's still a reliance on physical locations. So that's one thing that we're looking at, and how we bring that cash to digital, digital to cash, in these different countries, leveraging that existing physical footprint.
Yeah, just like blurring the space between digital and physical, that's going to be really important. If I were one part of your customer base, what would you say to me today? What is one thing that you would say? What would your vision to me be?
I would say, yeah, I want to provide you with a one user experience that can serve all your financial needs in a very simple, easy to understand, and affordable way. And that would be my the vision of this.
Okay. And just making things easily accessible and more cost effective for me. Is there anything else you would like to emphasize that I have not asked?
I would say, in our case, it's a very, very unique case. Being a corporate venture is different than being a pure venture, I would say. But there's a lot of opportunities out there. If you ever get to do things all over again, and you have the opportunity to start a new venture, I would say there's definitely a lot more to be done in the space. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of financial services and related services that are begging for disruption. We don't need to look only at what's trending and what looks cool and the image of the millennial banker with the digital experience, but also look at, the over 50% of Americans that have, 75,000 or less in household income, that need access to financial services that makes them in a way that makes them feel safe of what they're doing,
Mhm.
and they're accessible. So I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Besides transactions and having a customer base that feels safe and their money secure, of course, because these are FDIC insured. What are some other opportunities that entrepreneurs can think about?
So yeah, I mean, access to credit continues to be a big one,
Mhm.
despite, see a lot of access to credit, but access to credit to thin file customers, so low FICO score customers as well. It's a big opportunity. And there's a lot of other needs. If you look at, for example, rent deposits is one that we looked at one point in time.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that, they can't, they can afford a rent, but they can't afford a rent deposit, last month's deposit, plus a security deposit. So how could we spread those payments out
Mhm.
over time, so that that person can access a home that they can afford, but they just can't afford that lump sum at the time? So there's different opportunities like that I would say they're just begging to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, yeah. So that is a win-win for the owners as well as the tenants
That's right.
to avoid suspicion or just to be denied just because of that one consideration that could be mediated.
Yes.
If folks have questions about Lana, where do they go to learn more?
Yeah, so you can go to lana.com. We have a FAQ section, or just email us. There's a form. You can contact us anytime. There's also a number where they can call, or just feel free to shoot us a message through LinkedIn, or any way you may find us.
Awesome, awesome. And they do have an awesome website with, I literally went through your legal documents.
Oh,
Just to,
so you're the one.
I went through your legal documents, read everything. The fees are pretty transparent and all the locations are, so I was pretty happy with it. And I just want to read up on it because I was in fintech. I have a long history of fintech, so I'm just naturally really interested in it. And what better way to learn more about your company than to read your legal terms and services?
Right.
Okay, okay. What is one piece of advice you would like to provide to the community?
So I mean, my piece of advice is, it's just look for that problem that you want to solve. Make sure that it's something that you can monetize and grow, and then take it from there. Try to focus on one thing, not do too many things at once, and build it from there. And I think the biggest thing is, you see in fintech, a lot of the times you have this vision of building something and it morphs into something else.
Mhm.
uh, so just be flexible. It'll inevitably, morph in one way or another. So just keeping that flexible mindset as you build out is pretty important.
Awesome. I just want to thank you for your time. This is great.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Pleasure. Alrighty, bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.